Hello all, welcome to Amigos IAS Academy. In today's session, we shall discuss 5 important articles which are published under your Hindu newspaper. So these are 5 important articles which we shall be discussing in today's session. The first topic is on malaria. 25th April is recognized as World Malaria Day globally to commemorate and recognize the efforts taken by governments to control malaria. So 2025 Malaria Day's theme is this. Malaria ends with us, reinvest, reimagine and reignite is the theme of this year's World Malaria Day. Now, let us take this opportunity to discuss about the disease malaria. What is the causing factor of malaria? What parasite causes malaria? And what are the steps to be taken to control malaria? First, malaria is a vector-borne disease and it is caused due to a Plasmodium parasite and it is transmitted by bite of mosquito, that is female Anopheles mosquito. So the first point is it is a vector-borne disease and it is caused due to Plasmodium parasite and it is transmitted due to bite of female Anopheles mosquito. So these 3 important points are very important for your prelims examination. And where is malaria disease predominantly found? It is majorly found in your tropical and subtropical areas of Africa, South America and Asia. So Africa, South America and Asia majorly in tropical and subtropical areas. Malaria is not a contagious disease but it is transmitted only due to bite of female Anopheles mosquito. And what are the symptoms of malaria? Symptoms are fever, headache and chills are seen in the patient whoever is being infected by malaria. Now, what are the steps to be taken to prevent malaria? The major step and most important step is vector control interventions. It means to stop breeding of mosquitoes is the first important step that has to be taken by both people and by the government. And is malaria preventable? Yes, malaria is preventable by taking vector control interventions and it is also curable if it is diagnosed before. So this is the introduction about the disease malaria. Now every year World Malaria Report is being released by World Health Organization. These are the observations which are made by World Health Organization in your World Malaria Report of 2024. India has significantly reduced malaria cases and related deaths between 2017 and 2023. So, India is successful in reducing the malaria related deaths between 2017 and 2023. Next, India aims to achieve malaria free status by 2030 with 0 indigenous cases by 2027. 0 indigenous cases means the virus is not contracted locally but it can be an imported case but it is not being contacted locally. So that is the meaning of your 0 indigenous case. So 0 indigenous cases by 2027 is the aim of our country and to be a malaria free status country by 2030 is the second goal of India. Next comes steps taken by government. Global Malaria Program is started by World Health Organization and it did set few targets to be achieved. First target is to reduce the incidence of malaria and mortality rates caused due to malaria by at least 40% by 2020. The baseline considered for these targets is your 2015 data. And to reduce the incidence rate and mortality rate by 75% by 2025 and to reduce it to 90% by 2030. So these 3 targets are set under your Global Malaria Program by WHO. What are Indian interventions or Indian government steps? First is National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program. So this is an umbrella program for all vector-borne diseases. It majorly covers 6 vector-borne diseases, one of which is your malaria. So as you know, one of the 6 is malaria. Please go home and revise what are other 5 vector-borne diseases covered under your National Vector-Borne Disease Program. Next is National Framework for Malaria Elimination. This is a program from from 2016 to 2030. So this developed a framework to be followed to create zero indigenous cases by 2030. So the major goal of this program is to achieve zero indigenous cases by 2030. So these two are Indian government intervention, and first one is your WHO's intervention. Next important topic which we can see in today's newspaper is about Shimla Agreement 1972. It is in news as Pakistan government in retaliation has suspended your Shimla Agreement of 1972. Now, Shimla Agreement is an outcome of your Indo-Pakistan War which happened in 1971. Indo-Pakistan War of 1971 led to liberation of your East Pakistan, which is now called as Bangladesh. Now, who are the key negotiators of this in Shimla Agreement in 1972? The Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, and Pakistan's President Zulfikar Ali Bhutto are the key negotiators in 1972. What are the objectives of your Shimla Agreement of 1972? The first one is put an end to conflict and confrontation. So, as the war was going on in 1971 and this agreement is an outcome of war, the first is to put end to conflict and confrontation. The second one is promotion of friendly and harmonious relationships between both India and Pakistan. Third is not to disturb each other's internal affairs. And fourth is refrain from hostile propaganda. Fifth is to not disturb each other's internal affairs. So I think this point is being repeated, just ignore it. The four important points are to put an end to conflict and confrontation, promote friendly and harmonious relation between both India and Pakistan, not to disturb each other's internal affairs, and fourth is refrain from hostile propaganda. So these are the major objectives of Shimla Agreement. Now what are the key provisions which are mentioned under your Shimla Agreement of 1972? First one is both the countries has to follow principles laid down under your UN Charter. So this is the first important provision. Second one is any conflict between India and Pakistan has to be solved peacefully, and that too through bilateral confrontations. So this is your second important step. So to solve the issues peacefully and that too through bilateral negotiations is your second important provision. Line of control. The agreement converted the 1971 ceasefire line into the line of control. So it did convert ceasefire line during 1971 Indo-Pak War into line of control. What did line of control do? It effectively established a de facto border in Jammu and Kashmir. Even today we follow line of control. It emphasized that neither side would seek to unilaterally alter this line, thereby reinforcing the status quo. So no country, be it India or Pakistan, can unilaterally alter this line of control is the next key provision which is mentioned under your Shimla Agreement. And withdrawal of forces, as it is in the mid of the Indo-Pak War, withdrawal of forces is the next provision given under your Shimla Agreement. Future diplomacy. The agreement also laid down provisions for future meetings between the heads of both the government and ongoing discussions to establish a durable peace. So they even laid down the future meeting of both the heads of the government. Now, why does the suspension matter? As you know, LOC has been a flashpoint between both India and Pakistan for many years. We have already witnessed frequent ceasefire violations done by Pakistan. Now, suspending altogether of Shimla Agreement can lead to increased hostilities between India and Pakistan, and also it undermines the regional stability. So these are the factors which can lead due to suspension of Shimla Agreement of 1972. That's all about the Shimla Agreement. Now moving on to your third topic, that is about a tribe which is present in Odisha, Langia Saora tribe. So this is the picture which is published in the Hindu. You have to concentrate on such pictures also. If you read the description of the picture, you can find out the tribe's name. So these facts can be asked in your prelims examination. So Langia Saora tribe group. This is a classified PVTG tribe. There are majorly 75 PVTGs in India. This tribe is one of them. Saora is one of the ancient tribes of Odisha. The tribe's name is also mentioned in your epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata. They are called by various terms such as Savaras, Sabaras, Saura and Sora. They are dominantly present in Odisha, but few of them are also present in other states like Andhra Pradesh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh and Assam. So the tribe has their own language which is called as Sora. It comes under Munda language, and the language has its own script which is called as Sorang Sompang. So the language of the tribe is Sora. It comes under Munda language. The language has its own script which is called as Sorang Sompang. This is about the language of the tribe. And they even have a unique art practice, that is tattooing, which is called as Tang Tang Bo. So this is about the language of the tribe and this is about their traditional practices. And moving on to the next article, it is on polio. So this picture is published in the Hindu, which is telling about a health worker administering polio drops to school children during a door-to-door campaign in Lahore, that is in Pakistan. So this brings us to the discussion about polio, how is it is caused and what are the steps taken by Indian government. First, what is polio? Polio is infectious viral disease. So it is a viral disease. Remember this. And it majorly impacts the children under 5 years of age. Next comes, how is it transmitted? Polio is majorly transmitted through fecal oral route and by common vehicle like contaminated water or food. So how does it multiplies in body? The multiplication of polio is done in your intestines. Once it multiplies in your intestines, it directly impacts your nervous system, thereby making the person paralyzed. So it is developed in your intestine, it impacts your nervous system, thereby paralyzing the person who is infected. And there are majorly 3 types of polio strains which are present across the world. The type 1 is remaining endemic in Pakistan and Afghanistan as of 2022, and type 2 is already eradicated in 1999 and type 3 is eradicated in 2020. What are the steps taken by Indian government to fight against polio? On 27th March 2014, India became polio free. So what are the steps taken by Indian government to become polio free? First and foremost step is Mission Indradhanush, which is implemented across country. Under this, vaccination is done for 12 life-threatening diseases including polio. So it's a universal immunization program which is being implemented by government. And surveillance and border vaccination has also been increased by Indian government. Why border vaccination is important? As we know, our neighbor Pakistan is already endemic to polio. To prevent cross-border infections, government has increased surveillance on border and it increased vaccination to people residing near border areas. So these are the steps which are taken by Indian government to achieve the status of polio free. Next and last important topic of the day is about Kurds. Who are these Kurds and why are they important in our international affairs? So Kurds are members of a large predominantly Muslim ethnic group. So they belong to Muslim ethnic group and they speak a language which is related to Farsi language group, and they are not only the biggest minority group in West Asia, but they are also the world's largest ethnic minority without a state of their own. So these Kurds are majorly demanding for a separate country, that is Kurdistan. So Kurds are majorly situated in Turkey, Syria, Iraq, Iran and parts of Armenia. If you have read about ISIS, Syrian Democratic Forces has majorly helped USA to fight against ISIS. This Syrian Democratic Force is a Kurdish based force. So US has taken help of Kurds to fight against ISIS. So please make a note of areas where Kurds are situated. This is important for your prelims examination. Coming to mains practice question, discuss the importance of Shimla Agreement and impact of its suspension on India-Pakistan ties. Please do attempt this question. That's all for today. We shall meet tomorrow with a new topic. Till then, happy learning.